Okay. Hi, this is Debbie Loren Dunn and Tami Lewis Brown, and we're here to say thank you, and we're so honored to be a Bank Street College of Education Cook Prize Honor Book Award winner. We think what's best about this award is that the books are voted on by children themselves, so 8 to 10-year-olds are doing the voting, and that makes us so happy. Real quick, Tami, if you'll tell us about the inspiration for our book, that since it was your idea, that would be great.
For Perkins Perfect Purple.
Woohoo!
Yes, I was working on another picture book biography named Art is Life, about an artist named Keith Haring. And he was a painter and sculptor who did pop art in the 1980s. And so I was very interested in art and in color. And while I was researching art, I ran across a book about the color mauve, or mauve, some people call it. And I was surprised to learn that the person who invented purple was a boy, William Henry Perkin. And as soon as I found that out, I knew this had to be a book for kids. And I had to write that book with Debbie Dunn. So I called Debbie right away, and we decided we would get to work and make Perkins Perfect Purple.
That is great. Yeah, and I think what I loved about this was the whole research process. That's been my favorite part in our previous book, and then this one, Perkins. I loved researching about his childhood home. It was in Shadwell in East London, and we found out that he even had a chemistry lab upstairs in his house there. The house no longer exists, but there is a commemorative or historic marker on the actual building there. And so that was really fun to see old maps and photos of the exact spot that he made, that he had this invention, this aha moment. And even in the book, you'll see that Francesca Sanna, who's an amazing illustrator, she illustrates the smoke coming out of the lab. And that's kind of a fun picture, actually. And we found out another coincidence about the lab is that William's grandfather, oh, it's right there. See, so that's him in the top of the lab, just busy working, and smoke's just coming out. So I just loved her illustrations. We felt really lucky.
We found a picture of the houses on Williams Street from the time that he would have lived there. And we sent that photograph to, or I guess it was actually a drawing, to Francesca, and she used that as an inspiration for this 2-page spread in the book, which was really wonderful and a great collaboration that we were able to do with her.
Yes. And we found out that Perkins' grandfather also had the same passion. We really only found it in one place, but we found out that he had lab equipment, his grandfather did, in his cellar. So it seems so parallel from grandfather to grandson, someone working in the cellar, his grandfather, and then him working upstairs in his childhood home in a lab. So why don't you talk about, you want to tell us about the snail? Because we researched the snail that so much.
What we discovered was, before William invented Perkins Perfect Purple, one of the ways that purple dye had been created from the ancient days was by, would you believe it, milking snails. And I was able to buy this snail shell that is the kind of snail that actually produces purple dye. And isn't that cool? The way that these snails release the purple dye is you give them a little squeeze and it squirts out of the snail.
It's
But
bigger than I had thought. I had thought of a snail as being a teeny tiny thing.
they were pretty large
Pretty
and
large.
prickly too. But what had happened is during the 1400s in Tyre, which is a town in ancient Phoenicia, the people there made this purple dye, but there was a war, and after the war, the secret to making the purple dye was lost. And after that time, no more purple dye was made from snails for the next 500 years. So purple became a very rare substance. And the only way they could make purple for clothes or for anything was from roots or berries or ground up rocks. It was very rare and expensive until William came along. And it was so hard to find out the facts about that because so many people have told that story wrong, and they didn't realize that the secret to the true purple dye was lost in ancient Tyre. But Debbie and I found out the truth.
Right. We actually talked to a dye expert in England that kind of helped us out with that. And the other fun part about the research was we went to old newspapers and found newspapers from the 1800s, mid 1800s, when purple was starting to make a splash. And you saw them from Paris, New York, and London. And you saw how purple was kind of taking off. And it was his dye. So that was really, really fun. We talked to chemists, several chemists actually, and used their expertise to explain coal and coal tar, because at first we didn't really understand exactly how that worked. Yeah, and then, Tami, you want to talk about where we can get more information, maybe?
Yes, on our website, we've collected lots of different things, everything from a playlist about the music that was played during Queen Victoria's coronation, because remember, Queen Victoria wore purple, a purple crown, and she had commanded, make me a purple crown, but making purple was tricky. That's what started this whole thing. And so we found the actual music that was played during her coronation and made a playlist. There are lots of other activities and a teacher's guide on our website, and you can find it all at www.brownanddunn.com.
Well, thank you. Again, it's an honor, and we so appreciate this time with you. Thanks.